long before the fire, long before vengeance carved his name into legend, before the world knew him as Scorpion. Hanzo Hasashi was a man who still believed in peace. Not the kind of peace warriors speak about after war, but the kind that exists quietly between battles. The kind you build with your own hands, the kind you protect with your life. His home stood at the edge of a forest, far from the noise of kingdoms and conflict. It was not large, nor was it grand, but it was alive. The sound of water trickling from a wooden basin, the soft rustling of leaves brushing against one another in the wind, the distant laughter of his child, echoing through the calm morning air. Hanzo moved with the quiet discipline of a man who had spent his life mastering control. Even in stillness, there was awareness. Even in peace, there was readiness. Because men like Hanzo never truly rest. They only learn how to exist between moments of danger. That morning began like any other. The sky was pale, touched by the early light of dawn. Mist lingered low to the ground, clinging to the earth as if reluctant to let go of the night. Hanzo stepped outside, carrying a small wooden container. His movements were steady, deliberate, practiced, the result of years of training that had shaped not just his body, but his mind. But something was different. First, it was nothing obvious. No sound, no movement, just a feeling. The forest had gone quiet. Not the peaceful kind of quiet, the wrong kind. The birds were gone. The wind had stilled. Even the air itself felt heavier, colder. Hanzo paused. His grip on the container tightened slightly, not out of fear, but recognition. This was not natural. His eyes moved slowly across the ground, scanning, reading the world the way a warrior does. And then he saw it, a single flower, small, delicate, still rooted in the earth, but frozen, not covered in frost, not touched by winter, frozen from within. The petals were stiff, crystalline, unnatural, as if the life inside them had been extinguished in an instant. Hanzo's breathing slowed. Not panic, focus. There was only one force he had ever encountered that could do this. Only one presence that carried cold not as a condition, but as a weapon, the Lin-K, and among them, one name stood above the rest. Sub-Zero. Hanzo straightened slightly, his senses sharpening, his awareness expanding beyond what the eyes alone could see. The world around him shifted, not physically, but perceptually. Every sound amplified, every movement anticipated, every possibility calculated. And then the temperature dropped. It was subtle at first, a slight chill brushing against the skin. Then it deepened. The air grew heavy. Breath began to fog. The ground beneath his feet stiffened. This was no longer a warning. This was arrival. Hanzo turned slowly, not rushed, not startled, because warriors do not react. They respond. And there, standing just beyond the thin veil of mist, was the man who had brought winter with him. Sub-Zero. He did not move. He did not speak. He simply stood there, watching. His presence was unlike anything Hanzo had ever faced. There was no anger in his eyes, no rage, no emotion, just purpose. The kind of purpose that does not question itself. The kind that does not hesitate. The kind that ends things. For a moment, the world held its breath. Two warriors, two paths, one outcome. Hanzo shifted his stance slightly, lowering his center of gravity, his muscles tightening with controlled readiness. His mind was already racing ahead, mapping distance, timing, reaction. Because he understood something instantly. This was not a duel. This was an assassination. Sub-Zero took a single step forward, and with that one movement, the ground froze beneath him. Not gradually, not naturally, instantly. Ice spread outward from his foot, cracking through the earth like a living force, consuming everything it touched. Hanzo moved, fast, not out of fear, but out of necessity. Steel flashed as he drew his blade, the sound sharp and clean against the unnatural silence. He closed the distance in a single motion, his strike aimed with precision born from years of discipline. The blade cut through the air and met ice. Sub-Zero raised his arm, and in that same instant, a barrier of frozen energy formed. Not crafted slowly, but summoned. Effortless. The impact rang out, sharp and cold. Hanzo pushed forward, adjusting, adapting, his strikes flowing into one another with seamless control. But something was wrong. Every movement he made was being anticipated. Every attack, already understood. Sub-Zero wasn't reacting. He was predicting. The cold intensified. The air thickened. Hanzo's movements, once fluid and unstoppable, began to slow ever so slightly. Not enough for an untrained eye to notice, but enough. Enough for death. Sub-Zero moved. Not fast, not aggressive, precise. He stepped inside Hanzo's guard, his hand rising with unnatural calm. And then, ice exploded forward. It struck Hanzo across the chest, the force driving him backward. His body hitting the ground hard as the cold spread instantly across his skin. Pain shot through him, sharp, burning, freezing, but he forced himself up, because this wasn't about him. Behind him was everything, and he would not let it fall without a fight. He rose again, but this time, he understood. This was not a battle he could win, and yet, he stepped forward anyway, because some men fight not because they believe they will survive, but because they refuse to surrender what matters. And Hanzo Hasashi was one of those men.